Hello, everyone. Welcome to Chem 171, Introduction to Experimentation. Our course starts the week of September 8th. That doesn't mean you all come on September 8th. You come on your given day. Um, Here is the schedule. I'm going to go over the syllabus in a little bit with you. Everything I say in this video, your lab instructor will go over with you. But in case you want a recording of it, this may be helpful. So, our labs 1 and 2 are in person, then labs 3, 4, and 5 are virtual, then several in-person labs, and then lab 12 is virtual. For the in-person labs, you go to your lab at the normal time. For your virtual assignments, your assignment is due at or by 11:59 p.m. on the corresponding Friday. It doesn't matter if your lab is Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, or Friday. All assignments for the virtual labs are due for all students at the same time or by the same time. All right. The virtual experiments have a video and a web app. I'll go over that in a little bit. This virtual lab has two videos, a video of me explaining the web app and a video of a former instructor performing the experiment. All right. Here are your instructors, the location of your labs, and their corresponding email addresses. Below that is a list of office hours. All office hours will be via Zoom. Any student can attend any instructor office hours. It doesn't matter if Mark is your instructor or not. You can certainly attend his office hours. 5 minutes before his office hour starts, there'll be a announcement with a Zoom link for his office hours. All right. Here are the announcements, the assignments. Let's take a quick look at the assignments. Again, you have your first two in-person labs. The first one is worth 35 points. The second in-person lab is worth 53 points. And during lab one is the safety quiz. Um, I'll go over the safety rules at the end of this video, and the safety quiz will just be questions about the lab safety. Then you have a virtual assignment. Again, for the virtual assignments, you don't come to lab, you just do it at home um, at any time you want before 11:59 p.m. on the corresponding Friday. So for this one, it's due September 26th, that's a Friday, by 11:59 p.m. You can do it right now if you want. Um, all labs have a pre-lab and a chemical hazards awareness form. The pre-labs are in the files folder. I'll go over that in a little bit. There are pre-labs in your book, but we don't complete them. I change them every few semesters. Okay. All right. Your grades. You can click here to see your grades. Let's take a look at files. Here is a folder with blackboards. I have a picture of all the blackboards except for the first one. Um, when you go in, you'll see a blackboard with some notes, and these are just pictures of them if you want to read them in advance. Here is your syllabus, and here, sorry, excuse me. Here is, well, there's two ways to read the syllabus. There's a copy of the syllabus here, and you can see the syllabus here. I'll get to that in just a second. Here is a folder of pre-labs. Again, we do the pre-labs here, not the ones in the book. There's no pre-lab and no chemical hazards awareness form for lab one. There is a folder called You Still Need to Buy Manual. So you need to buy the book for this course. I'll go over that in a little bit. I wrote Lab 1, so I can put a full copy of Lab 1 on Canvas. I didn't write Labs 2 and 3, so I can only put a partial copy of Labs 2 and 3 on Canvas. I don't have ownership of those two. Um, this folder is only here if your book is delayed or you haven't purchased your book yet, but you do need to you need to purchase a book for this course. All right. again, two ways to look at the syllabus, here or here. And here is a copy of the Chemical Hazards Awareness Form. Um, there are there's two ways to purchase this book. You can buy a physical book or the ebook. The ebook is half the price of the physical book, but there's some challenging challenges involving printing from the ebook. I'll talk about that in a little bit. Um, Let me jump back to assignments. Again, you'll have some virtual labs. How do you submit the virtual labs? Well, you don't have to, let's say you have the physical book. On the physical book, you can just write your work in the physical book, take a picture of it, and upload it. But maybe you have the ebook. Whether you have the physical book or the ebook, for the virtual labs, you can write all of your work on another piece of paper or several pieces of paper, take a picture of those pieces of paper, and then upload those. Um, for the in-person labs, you do need to bring your physical book or a printed copy of the lab. Okay, again, if you have the ebook, you can just go to the Rutgers Computer Center and print out a copy of the given lab. Let's see. Okay, let's go back to files. Um, why is there a copy of the Chemical Hazards Awareness Form here? Let's take a quick look at that. Each lab except for Lab 1 has a Chemical Hazards Awareness Form. It's very simple. It just looks like this. You just have to list the chemicals and any hazards or specific handling precautions associated with these chemicals. Um, Again, for lab one, you don't have to turn this in. For lab two, the only chemical we use is water, so you can write water, no chemical hazards. For all the other labs, including the virtual labs, you have to list all the chemicals and all the hazards associated with the chemicals. All right. Again, you can find the syllabus in files or a copy of the syllabus here. Let's take a look at the syllabus. All right. Oh no, I forgot to delete the word draft. I'll do that. Um, okay. Here is the schedule. Again, we Rutgers does meet at this time, but we don't have labs. We start this week here, starting the week of September 8th. Okay, you have in-person labs. You have in-person lab here. For this in-person lab, for this first in-person lab, you have no homework. Um, you should read the lab in advance. If you don't have your lab book yet, please buy it as soon as possible. But again, as I said previously, um, there's a copy of the lab one on Canvas. Okay. For lab two, you will have to do a pre-lab and a chemical hazards awareness form. Um, you can write your answers to the pre-lab and the chemical hazard awareness form on another piece of paper if you want. Um, you can write in pen or pencil. Either is fine. Okay, then we have our virtual labs. You submit them online by 11:59 p.m. of the corresponding Friday. The virtual for Lab 3, all students' assignments are due by September 26th by 11:59 p.m. You can do it now if you want. I intentionally haven't listed Lab 4. That is to avoid students submitting um, their lab 3 material into the assignment for lab 4. Okay. Okay. So during the first lab, you're going to have a safety quiz. I'm going to go over the safety rules with you in a little bit. Let's go back to lab 1. So again, lab 1, you go to your lab. There'll be goggles and lab coats there. You put your goggles and lab coat on. It is your responsibility to bring your goggles and lab coat back and forth to lab each week. Um, then you're going to listen to the lab instructor go over the syllabus again and the safety rules again. And then you're going to perform you're going to take a safety quiz and then perform the density of water experiment. And then at the end of the lab, you'll turn in your results for the density of water. Your questions, your tables, your graphs, anything associated with the lab. Um, Lab 2 is similar. You go in, you put your goggles and your lab coat on that you have brought back with you. Um, you turn in your chemical hazards awareness form and pre-lab. Um, your lab instructor will go over the notes on the blackboard, give a little demonstration. You will then perform the experiment, and when you're done, you'll turn in your work for that lab. Okay. During the week of Thanksgiving, we have no labs, and then the last lab is virtual. Okay. This is me. I co-authored the manual. There's at least two ways to purchase it. The Rutgers University Bookstore has it. The Rutgers University Bookstore lists it as edition 3, but it's edition 2, you go to the bookstore, you see the book, it says edition 2 on it. Um, and why does the bookstore list it as edition 3? It's just because I've revised edition 2 a couple times and the bookstore just thinks that it's a different edition. It's, you know, it's just what the bookstore does. Anyway, you can get it at the bookstore or you can get it here. You can order it directly from the publisher. The prices should be identical. Now, this is the way to get the ebook. It's half the price of the physical book. If you do want the ebook, click on, you get to pick which viewing platform. Click Vital Source. It's easier and less, the printing is easier and less problematic. But why do you need to print from the ebook? Because you need to bring a physical copy of the lab for the yes, for the seven in-person labs. Um, excuse me, for the 8 in-person labs. Okay, this is the book. Anything from this course, please don't publish anywhere else. Okay, so when you go to your lab, the first thing you must do is put your goggles on your eyes, not your foreheads, and then put your lab coat on. Your goggles must be on your eyes at all times, even you may be done the experiment. You may think you can take your goggles off, but you can't. Someone else may be still doing an experiment. Chemicals could fly and they could land or they could get into your eyes. Your goggles will help prevent chemicals getting into your eye. As you're leaving the lab is when you can take your goggles off, not beforehand. Okay. This is just a breakdown of the grades. Absences. Okay. Uh, there are some there are some valid reasons for absences: religious observances, illness or injuries, court dates. Um, What happens if you are absent for a valid reason? You'll give some documentation to your lab instructor, and they'll show you a link with a video of the lab, and you'll perform the lab virtually. Um, we are unfortunately 100% filled, so we can't have any in-person makeup labs. Not valid reasons. If you are dismissed from lab for a safety rules violation, um, vacation plans, family trips, weddings, um, transportation issues, if you are in an accident on the way, of course, we'll give you a makeup lab um, um, job schedule. You please don't schedule your work on top of our course. If you are absent, you have to self-report. Okay. If you have a disability, please let your lab instructor know, and your lab instructor will tell me. I should have you, if you have a disability, I should have your form from ODS already, but if you haven't submitted it, please submit it. Okay. Please, so the purpose of this course is for you to get into lab and learn a little bit. Please don't manufacture data. You'll get a 0 on the lab. Um, we're not, in terms of grading, we are fairly um, generous, lenient. We want you to learn something in this course, to get some hands-on experience, to learn some chemistry, and of course to learn about safety. Uh, Don't make up data. We will know if you're making up data. If we see you with a report from a previous semester, you'll get a 0. This is a hazardous environment. Not only that, but we're training you for even more hazardous environments. So you must be serious um, in the lab. Um, if you are fooling around, you'll get a 0 on the lab. If you do any of these a second time, you'll fail the course. Um, okay. Um, please don't post the material from this course to another web page, and please don't make up doctor's notes. Okay. There are 1,340 of you. If you email me, I will answer your email. However, um, again, there are a lot of you. I get a lot of emails. Ideally, if you could email your lab instructor first, that would be great. If you can't resolve it, then I will, of course, help you, and hopefully we can resolve any questions you have. Um, again, to be clear, that doesn't mean you shouldn't email me. If you would prefer to email me, that's fine. Yeah. Okay. If you have any medical conditions, please tell your lab instructor and they will tell me. Okay. Now, um, um, any medical conditions at all, please do tell your lab instructor. And including if you are pregnant, please tell your lab instructor, and we will have a discussion about reproductive care in our course. Okay. I'm going to go over the safety rules with you, and your lab instructor will again go over the safety rules with you. Okay. So, um, you can't be in the lab if your lab instructor is not there. No matter how small the accident or injury is, please tell your lab instructor. Let me give you an example. It's been 7 years now, but a student spilled 5 molar, or maybe it was 6 molar, hydrochloric acid on her hand. That huge issue. You just wash your hand off thoroughly in underwater for about 10 minutes, and you should be fine. However, this student did not inform her instructor of spilling the acid on her hand and just kept working. Well, 5 minutes later, her hand started bubbling. So please, no matter how small the accident or injury is, please tell your lab instructor. Um, please follow the instructions in our lab manual. Please don't make up your own experiments. You must be serious in this lab. There is concentrated acid that can blind you. Um, There are chemicals that can damage your skin and again blind you. You must be serious in this lab. If you are fooling around, your lab instructor will ask you to leave and you will get a 0 for the day for the lab. If this happens a second time, you will fail the course. Okay, you must have your safety goggles on your eyes, not your forehead. They must be on your eyes. Um, yeah. I have number 6 here that says contact lenses are not permitted. Um, um, they are permitted, however, you must email, if you must wear contact lenses, you must email me first, and then I'm going to give you a great deal of details about safety in regards to contact lenses in the lab. In more hazardous environments, you may not be allowed to wear contact lenses. Um, let's see, certain chemicals can get under the contact lenses and eat away at your eyes. Flames can melt or fuse the contact lenses to your eyes. Um, Arcs can melt or fuse the contact lenses to your eyes. So in this course here, we do allow contact lenses, but I have to talk to you first. Your lab instructor will show you where the eye wash is, safety shower, and fire extinguisher. If you get any chemicals in your eye, immediately go to the eye wash and just keep flushing your eyes with water. We will call the EMTs, and they will assess whether you need to go to the hospital or not. Um, all right. Um, uh, yeah, here's the okay time for this story. Um, You always wear splash resistant goggles in this course. You will also always wear gloves. I'll talk about gloves in a little bit in this course. Um, this does not this reduces the probability of you getting some acid in your eyes or on your hands. But it's still possible. Um, Keep in mind when you're wearing gloves, they may be contaminated. So again, let's say you're working with acid. Um, you may get some acid on your hands. Um, Now, it's been maybe 8 years. Um, I had a student wearing goggles, splash-resistant goggles, and blue gloves. Um, they were dealing with acid, and there was a small amount of acid on their gloves. However, with the gloves, they rubbed their eyes and rubbed the acid into their eyes. They had to go to the eye wash, of course. The EMTs had to come. They had to go to the hospital. Fortunately, their eye was not damaged, but if you get acid in your eye, it could blind you. Okay, there are little cubbies to keep your books and other things. Please keep them in there. You must be properly dressed. You must wear closed-toed shoes, no flip-flops, no sandals. Um, you must wear long pants. You will have a lab coat on, so you can have short sleeves as long as your lab coat is on. If you have long hair, please tie it back. Okay. Anything vaporous must be kept under the hood. Please don't smell. Please don't taste. Please don't drink or eat any chemicals. You can't eat anything in this lab. Please assume all the chemicals are both poisonous and corrosive. So please don't eat or taste any of the chemicals. Please don't smell any of the chemicals. All the burners must be kept under the hood. Um, if you're heating, so we're not using Bunsen burners this semester, but I also want to use this course for training for more hazardous environments. So I'm going to tell you a little story here. One year, I had a student using a Bunsen burner, heating up a crucible um, with a lid. Um, well, the crucible is hot and the lid is hot. They somehow knocked the lid off and used their hands to, try to pick up the lid with their hands and, well, badly burn their fingers. So if you're heating up objects with flames, they may look cool, but they are actually hot. So please, anything you're heating, please use tongs to move, not your hands. No eating, drinking, or smoking in the labs, okay? Please do not bring in anything consumable. If you have a water bottle, it must stay in your backpack. We must not see it. Before disposable water bottles, please discard before you enter the labs. Please don't discard water bottles in my trash cans. RAHS will come around and periodically look in my trash cans, and if they see water bottles, then I get in trouble. Okay. Um, again, I said this before, but never taste any chemicals or solutions. Assume they're all poisonous and corrosive, okay? Everything must be labeled. Let's say you're taking some reagent from the stock. Let's say you take too much. Please don't put any excess back. It's okay. Please try not to do this. Um, if you do it more than a few times, you'll be penalized. But again, if you put back excess reagent, it may contaminate the stock. So please don't put back excess reagent. We have an abundance of gloves. You must wear gloves. The gloves will help protect your hands, but how do you protect your calculator or your pen from possible contaminants on your gloves? Well, this may seem wasteful, but this is what we're going to do. Let's say you're right-handed and you need to use your calculator. You take your right glove off, you throw it away, you use your calculator, you get another glove, and you put it back on your right hand. Okay, so this will prevent any or minimize the probability of any contaminants getting on your calculator or pen or pencil. Pen or pencil in this course is fine. Make sure your sink area is clean before you leave the lab. Um, I think I mentioned this above, but again, beware of hot glass or ceramics. They look cool long before you can safely handle them. Before you leave, even if you had gloves on, you must wash your hands. Okay, no gloves are perfect. You may still have some contaminants on your hands. Washing your hands will minimize the chance of you contaminating your food or eyes. Please tell us of any medical conditions. If you have any questions, whether safety or about the lab, please ask us. And one very specific safety rule about this course. Um, During the molar volume of carbon dioxide experiment, we have Erlenmeyer flasks. We fill the Erlenmeyer flask with water and we gently push and twist a stopper into the Erlenmeyer flask. Please don't push hard on the stopper. Um, I guess it was 7 years or so ago. Um, this happened twice within a week. Um, Two guys were pushing on the stopper too hard, and the water is not particularly compressible. So as they're pushing down on the stopper, the water is pushing outwards on the flask. Well, eventually the flask shattered. But as the flask shattered, their hand was still going downward. So the glass went through their hand and there was blood everywhere. The EMTs had to come. They had to go to the hospital. They had to get stitches. It was very painful, extremely painful. And blood was everywhere. So, um, please gently push and twist stoppers into the flask. Now, this is true whether the flask is filled with water or empty. Um, if the flask is empty and you're pushing too hard on the stopper, the rim of the flask can crack. The crack can extend it downwards along the flask. The flask can shatter. As the flask shatters, again, your hand is still going downward and the glass will go through your hand. So please gently push and twist stoppers into the flask. I think that is about it, but again, ask us if you have any questions. I'll remove the word draft there. Um, okay. Let's see if I forgot anything. I don't think I forgot anything. Again, here are your instructors and their email addresses. I think that's about it. Just again, the purpose of this course is for you to get into the lab and learn some techniques, learn some chemistry. We try not to be too harsh. I'm going to go show you one more thing. Again, there's no pre-lab for the first lab, but there's pre-lab for the second lab. I have written most of the pre-labs in terms of Harry Potter, so maybe that would encourage you to, maybe if the pre-lab questions are more entertaining, that might, make the pre-labs more fun. Okay. Well, I hope you have a good course, and please, safety is the most important thing in this course, so please um, try to be as safe as possible in this course. All right, thank you, and I hope you have a good semester.